One of the things that I attribute any success that I've achieved so far in my tech sales career is a habit of voracious reading. Okay, I often get in internet arguments with people who tell me, well, not all successful people read all the time, which is totally true. But the opposite I've never seen. I've never seen somebody who reads all the time who doesn't go on to become wildly successful in their careers. So in my early 20s, I started taking this habit very seriously. And throughout my 20s, I spent that entire decade reading business books and sales books for between 30 to 60 minutes every day. I can probably count on a few hands the number of times I actually missed a day without reading anything at all. And so in this video, I am going to whittle down the list and tell you about my top 12 favorite sales books that I would recommend you read to turbocharge your sales success and your sales career. Stay tuned. All right, number one is Let's Get Real or Let's Not Play. This book is written by the people who went on to co-found the Franklin Covey sales methodology. And it actually took me a long time to get to this book. I wish I read this one earlier in my career. I think I read it just a few years ago. And it's one of the better books. In fact, it's one of the first books that I recommend. They teach you a more holistic framework for B2B sales success than most sales books do, right? Most sales books only talk about a narrow part of sales success, like discovery or questioning methodology or negotiation. And this book addresses things in a more comprehensive way. They talk about prospecting methodology, qualification, discovery, even presenting and negotiation. So give that one a look. Number two, The Challenger Sale. Okay, this book in my early 20s, I became obsessed with, so much so that I read the book 7 times. And I'm sure you've heard of this book, and I would highly recommend you read it. It will teach you how to get your customers to think differently about the problem that your solution solves in a way that favors a purchase. Now, the only caveat that I'll add to this book is it's not a full, sales methodology or anything like that. It's going to teach you a mode of behavior that you should adopt to close more deals, but it's incomplete by itself, okay? You're gonna wanna pair it with the rest of the books that I'm recommending here. Book number 3 is The Challenger Customer. Okay, this is a sequel to the Challenger Sale, and I would argue it's actually better than the Challenger Sale, but you can't really read it until you first read the Challenger Sale because that's gonna lay the foundation. But what the Challenger Customer is about is how complex it is to actually buy something internally for a customer. What goes on inside their organization when you're trying to sell a deal, and how difficult it is to create consensus. Okay, and they make a few cases within the book about how you can orchestrate that dynamic within your buyer's accounts, right? They talk about how there are typically between 5 and 7 decision makers within any deal, and they give you tips, tactics, strategies, and insights, all based on research to help you close more complex deals, even if there are a lot of people involved inside the customer's account and there's a very complex buying situation to be solved. Number 4, Spin Selling. This is one of the original B2B sales books, okay? This is based on research. I think it was like in the 1980s when this research happened and when this book was initially written. And SPIN, the acronym SPIN, S-P-I-N, is a questioning methodology. Okay, so this is another caveat, and this is the pattern you'll see with a lot of sales books, is very few of them are gonna teach you sales success from start to finish. And that's okay. You're looking to learn micro skills that eventually complete the full picture. But spin selling stands for situation, problem, implication, and needs payoff. Okay, these are 4 different types of questions that the book author and the firm that he worked for identified in top performing salespeople. These are the kind of questions they ask, and it's a great book to start to learn different questions to ask that generate pain and the implications of pain in a way that heightens your chance of closing deals. Number 5, Solution Selling. This one is equally as old as Spin Selling, but it's timeless and it's very good. He teaches a complex discovery methodology that he calls the 9-box method. Okay, I would highly recommend this one. I would recommend you read it after you read spin selling, because a lot of it builds on top of spin selling, right? Spin teaches you those 4 types of questions, and now this book teaches you how to navigate a complex discovery conversation through a series of questioning techniques with buyers in a way that creates demand and also builds a buying vision for your product specifically. Okay, it helps you essentially rig the buying criteria in favor of a purchase of your product if you get really good at the questioning techniques that they teach in solution selling and the new solution selling, which is, its updated version. Number 6, conversations that win the complex sale. This is a book written by the folks over at CVI, over at Corporate Visions, and it is not dissimilar to the Challenger sale and to the Challenger customer. Okay, they talk about a messaging framework that uses what they call loss aversion, okay, the human tendency to want to avoid loss, in a way that generates demand. Okay, so what you're not going to learn in this book is discovery techniques or questioning techniques or negotiation techniques or anything like that. You are going to learn how to craft narratives and messages that resonate with buyers that you can hang the deal on almost as your thesis for the deal. So give that one a read. Number 7, the new strategic selling. What you will not learn in this book is anything that shows up as a sales tactic. You're not going to learn what to say, what to ask, how to negotiate. What you're going to learn is how to analyze your deals, your accounts, and the stakeholders within them so that you can chart a deal strategy that makes it more likely that you're going to close the deal. Okay, in other words, this book, true to the name, is all about selling strategy, not selling tactics. Okay, so if you're a mid-market or enterprise seller, or if you have aspirations of being one of those, and if you close like say 30, 50,000 or beyond 100,000, multi-100,000, let alone $1 million deals, then this is a must read because it's going to teach you how to analyze and navigate complex deals and complex accounts to win the deal. Number 8, hope is not a strategy. This is another one similar to new strategic selling. You're not going to learn tactics. You're not going to learn what to say, what to ask or anything like that. You are going to learn a variety of deal strategy and account strategy techniques. This is another one that I took too long to read. Okay, I didn't read this one until I was probably 8 or 9 years into my tech sales career. And I wish I could go back in time because some of the deal techniques, or rather deal strategies that you learn in that book, are incredibly valuable for closing mid and large sized deals. Number 9, no BS sales success in the new economy. This one's hilarious. Almost nobody knows about this book. And the reason is it's written by a guy who's not very well known in the sales space, but he is actually known as the godfather of direct response marketing. Okay, his name is Dan Kennedy. He actually started his career in sales and field sales, and then he went on to become an entrepreneur who pioneered the field of direct response marketing. And if you don't know what direct response marketing is, it's basically marketing with the intent of selling things, right? It has a direct ask. It's salesmanship or salespersonship in print. And Dan Kennedy is one of the best salespeople on the planet, despite the fact that all of his selling is now done in writing. He takes all of what he learned, both through his sales career and direct response career, and puts it into a sales success book. And it's really good. It's very different than anything you're going to learn in the mainstream, like B2B sales literature. And that's by design, right? You want to learn techniques from other walks of life and other fields to broaden how you think about your own sales success. So give that one a read. Number 10, what great salespeople do. This book was actually written by the original author of Solution Selling, which I mentioned a minute ago. His name's Mike Bosworth. After he sold his sales training company that pioneered the sales or the solution selling methodology, he wrote this new book called What Great Salespeople Do. And it's very different than solution selling, not to negate anything that he talks about in solution selling, but it has nothing to do with discovery, nothing to do with questioning techniques, and it has everything to do with storytelling. Okay, Mike Bosworth goes on to make the case that what separates great salespeople is their ability to tell great stories, to put people at ease, and to tell stories that your buyer can see themselves in. So there's research in it, there's personality traits in it, and there's a structure for storytelling. And when you combine your ability to tell stories with some of the other things that you learn in these other books, like these discovery techniques and solution selling and spin selling, you start to round out the holistic sales skill set. Okay, so that's the one you want to go to hone your storytelling abilities. Number 11, where have all the salesmen gone? Okay, I realize that's kind of an outdated title. It should be where have all the salespeople gone? But it's a very old book. This was written in the 1960s, I believe, by somebody at the time who was a modern day madman. And when I say madman, I'm talking about advertising man, right? Like the video series, or what do they call them? Video series, the television show Mad Men. He's kind of like one of those characters. He was the head of an advertising agency. And the book won't teach you how to sell, but what it will do is it will give you a very deep appreciation for the profession of sales. He goes on at length for, what must be 180 pages that really just helps you feel a sense of pride in salespersonship, right? He talks about how salespeople are instigators of good change when the superpower that is their sales skill set is used wisely. So if you ever feel like you need just kind of some inspiration or motivation, or if you need to resell yourself on being in sales, which happens to all of us at some point in our career, sales is a hard career, give that one a read. It's fascinating. It's historic. It's very motivating, even though it was written at the time of this recording, probably 60 years ago or so. All right, the last one, Start with No. Okay, this is actually a negotiation book. It's written by a guy named Jim Camp. And the reason I mentioned this, even though there's another negotiation book out there that I really like that everybody loves, which is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Sure, I would recommend that one too, but if I could only choose one negotiation book, I would actually recommend Start with No. And the reason is Start with No is a more comprehensive negotiation set of tools and methodology, where most other negotiation books are just kind of a random grab bag of negotiation techniques. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you're left with how to piece it all together yourself, and you're not exactly sure how it all works together. Start with No does not have that issue, okay? Start with No is more of a soup to nuts, here's how to negotiate successfully book. Give that one a read. It's really, really good. So that brings us to everything. The biggest advice I can give you, the biggest parting advice I can give you is to make reading a habit, right? These 12 books are a great start. I've done another YouTube video on books that will improve your business acumen, right? Read books that go outside of just sales skills and go into other business skill sets. But give these ones a read, prioritize them on your reading list, and more than anything, just make reading a habit, right? If you stop watching the news or scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or all these other, not so productive habits for 30 minutes a day, and you replace that with reading a book that's designed to improve your skill set, you will wake up in 5 years to a completely different life. Okay, so make it a habit. And if you found this video helpful, I've been asked this question a lot of times, right? What sales books would I recommend? So if you found this video helpful, give it a like. Comment below if you have any questions, or comment below with sales books that you would recommend others read so we can get more eyes on your recommendations. And if you're comfortable with it, share it out with your network. And I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next video.